place of scientific facts in our heads is often taken by myths taken from movies or entertainment literature. Journalists from the magazine History Revealed publication have compiled a list of the most popular historical myths. Napoleon was not a short man. When the war between Great Britain and Napoleonic France broke out, Napoleon was ridiculed in the British press by numerous caricaturists. Bonaparte was depicted as a short, fat man. For a long time, it was believed that his height was about 155 to 157 centimeters. There even appeared the idea of a Napoleon complex, a desire to compensate for short stature with an excess of power. When Napoleon died, his height was recorded. It was 5 feet 2 inches and 4 lines, which is 169 centimeters. At the time of his death, Bonaparte was 51 years old. Considering that with age, the vertebrae are compressed by 1 to 6 centimeters. In his youth, the height of the shorty was at least 170 centimeters. This is an average height not only for the 19th century, but also for our time, when people have become a little taller. Cleopatra was not Egyptian. Yes, Cleopatra ruled Egypt, but she was not an Egyptian. She was the last queen of the Ptolemaic dynasty, and they came from Macedonia. The founder of the dynasty, Ptolemy I Soter, was a military leader under Alexander the Great, and after his death he became a governor and later the king of Egypt. Cleopatra was born in Alexandria. She was the daughter of Ptolemy XII Auletes. Nothing is known about the queen's mother, but it is believed that she was one of the king's concubines. There are marble busts of the queen, but scientists have not been able to determine whether they really depict Cleopatra. But profiles on coins show a woman with wavy hair, large eyes, a prominent chin, and a hooked nose. These are hereditary traits of the Ptolemies. The apple did not fall on Newton's head. The story of Newton's discovery of gravity is well known. In 1666, he witnessed an apple fall in his garden. But by that time, the theory of gravity had already partially formed in his mind, and the apple certainly did not fall on his head. It is believed that the scientists used the example of the apple as a colorful illustration of his theory. Incidentally, Newton became the second ever Lucasian professor of mathematics at Cambridge University. This is one of the most prestigious academic positions in the world. In 1979, Stephen Hawking took the same position. Christopher Columbus never set foot on the American continent. During his 1492 expedition, Christopher Columbus visited the Bahamas, as well as lands that would later become the Dominican Republic and Haiti. The discoverer never reached the continent itself. However, he was not the discoverer either. In the 11th century, the Scandinavian navigator Leif Erikson landed on the coast of Canada. Around 1000, Erikson and a crew of 35 people sailed west. The sailors discovered 3 regions of America: Baffin Island, the Labrador Peninsula, and the coast of Newfoundland. The Vikings even founded several settlements here. Viking helmets did not have horns. It is difficult to imagine a Viking without a horned helmet, but in fact, Scandinavian sailors never wore such headgear. Not a single such helmet has been found during archaeological excavations. The idea of horned Vikings was born thanks to the composer Richard Wagner. During the production of The Ring of the Nibelung cycle in the 1870s, the Vikings in the opera wore helmets with horns. Helmets with horns did exist, but they were worn by northerners of the Bronze Age, long before the Vikings appeared. Nero was not as bad as he is thought to be. There is a myth that Emperor Nero looked with pleasure at Rome engulfed in flames and even played the violin. In fact, during the terrible fire of 64, the tyrant was in the city of Antium, 50 kilometers from Rome, where he ordered his palace to be open to the homeless. And the violin would not be invented until the mid-16th century. Caesar was not born by cesarean section. In ancient Rome, they did perform similar operations as in ancient Greece, but they were only performed on dead women. At the end of the 7th century BC, a law was passed that allowed the burial of a dead pregnant woman after the extraction of the child. It is believed that the practice of performing cesarean sections on living women was started by the court physician of the French king, Ambroise Paré, in the 16th century. Hence the name of the operation. Caesarea means royal, and sectio means incision.